Spurs number 10, and it's not Gary Lineker. Keeping up the image, more champagne for Ron, but only 1 point for Wednesday. And that well-known scoring machine, Halifax Town, goal every 30 minutes. We start at Millmore, the 8th ground we visited for our main match this season, Rotherham against Preston, John Hell.
Rotherham United's dismal start to the season has been one of the mysteries so far. They were challenging for a place in the 2nd division at the start of the year, but have slumped to the bottom of Division 3. But Bobby's back. Leading goal scorer Bobby Williamson, such a prolific scorer and key figure last season, has missed the last 5 matches. He's fit again. Billy McKeown must hope this will be the day he rediscovers his touch, and here he is. And that was a pretty good touch for a start, and it's taken him away down the left touch line. Goodwin going on ahead of him. And he's found him as well. Great start from Rotherham. Can they cap it with a goal? Inches wide from Mendonca. And an encouraging start between the strike force that has joined up again. It's a bright start by the Millers. Williamson inside there, Goodwin, and Mendonca coming in, getting a good touch, but just wide. Williamson continues his chase and gets goal side of the defender as well, Wrightson. Scott takes it on and whips the crossover to the far side to Billy Russell. Back here, here's a chance. Dempsey spoons it over the bar. And Mark Dempsey has got 3 goals so far this season. Good position he took up as well there. Crunching tackle from Scott. Well, the referee didn't like it. I would have thought that was an excellent tackle. And Billy McKeown, the Rotherham manager, did. Obviously, he came dashing to the touchline to complain. But Preston have got men forward now. Swan, James. It's the first time the Preston fans have been able to cheer. Oh, it's a great chance for Bogey. Kept out by Russell, and away goes Hazel for Rotherham. Finds Mendonca. Now Williamson. He might have played it too quickly. Hughes able to cover, but certainly that was Preston's best opportunity. Wasted by Bogey. They might have another one now. Shaw coming. Well, it was from that sort of situation that Huddersfield scored against Rotherham last week, where goalkeeper and centre-half didn't read the situation. On this occasion, it was Graham Shaw of Preston who was coming through. He's got a bang on the head, which is why the trainer is on immediately, and the referee has stopped play. It was an awkward bouncing ball. It was taken away by Robinson, and the clash of heads there. Shaw came off worst. Mercer's okay. That's interesting because referee Hart was, of course, the one in the Leeds versus Tottenham game when the Tottenham physiotherapist David Butler came on to treat one of his own players, David Howells, and was booked. The eye check, he seems to be following it okay, and Graham Shaw will be able to continue. What happened, I think he says. Senior. Good ball, edge of the area was Shaw, and he's here now. Graham Shaw with a good chance to beat Mercer, flicked onto the crossbar, and Graham Shaw only denied by the fingertips of Billy Mercer. Preston's best effort. They had an earlier chance which they didn't take, but from the ball in here, Shaw, it was a well thought out manoeuvre. A few physical battles going on down there, and the one between Russell and Harper produces a free kick for Preston, who are managed by the former Huddersfield Town player Les Chapman. As he's got Ian Greaves here with him as well today, another former Huddersfield Town manager. Preston's free kick. Oh, and the flick, and Mercer having to tip it over the top there. Very good backward header from Gary Swan. The former Hull City player has been in good goal-scoring form recently. He's got 3, and Wrightson pings it into the penalty area, and Swan timed his run, and that was a really clever back header. Good stop. Cleanly won by Dempsey. Great ball as well. Thompson's got a great chance now if he can just get past the defender who brings him down. Right on the edge of the area, Greg Fee, and that is a booking. Greg Fee says, "I'm sorry," holds up his hands, says, "What else could I have done?" I think Thompson was away there, and there was a man in the middle waiting, Dempsey's ball bisected the Preston defence. Thompson, who's only been on a matter of minutes, came scything on the outside of Fee's challenge and came a cropper. Greg Fee is the name. Oh, it's a red card. Now that's an interesting one. Greg Fee goes down the tunnel straight to the dressing room. A professional foul ruled by referee Hart, and Preston are down to 10 men. And here's the free kick. Robinson slices wide. So 10 men Preston looking to overcome the odds now. Dempsey, Williamson, nice flick. Mendonca, good back heel as well. Goodwin goes on. Excellent football. Can Scott finish it for Rotherham? Scott! A screaming shot. And unfortunately for Rotherham, it's on the wrong side of the net. It was a beautiful move, though, involving 4 of the Rotherham players, and he just couldn't round it off. What a lovely move. The ball headed on by Williamson, backheeled by Mendonca, tipped on then by Goodwin. Straight into the path of Scott, who has a thunderous shot. He was unlucky. Gote, that's a good ball. Goodwin skips around one, supplies the ball now for Williamson. Bobby Williamson forward here for Mendonca. The keeper saves first time. Mendonca, he's in! He's done it! And Clive Mendonca, almost at the death. He's buried by his teammates. They are so delighted. They foraged away for the goal. And even when it came, it looked as though it was never going to go in. Skill by Goodwin opened the way, and then good skill as well by Williamson. Mendonca showing the tenacity required of strikers, and it was in off the upright. So Clive Mendonca, with his 4th of the season, could hardly have timed it better. Preston know there are only seconds left for them to rescue something from the game. Robinson heads it out to Scott. Wrightson's missed it. Mendonca can really finish it with his 2nd now. He should do it. Mendonca, oh, across the goal. It should have been 2. That really would have wrapped it up. And if only, yes, he beats the ground in despair this time. It should have been all over here. Clive Mendonca wasn't sure, I don't think, whether to try first time. He gets around Farnworth, but can't beat the angle, and the clearance keeps it out. 2-0 would have looked so much better than 1-0. They play possession football now. It's all over, though, and Rotherham have got their 3 points because of Clive Mendonca's late goal. He'd missed the previous 2 matches, but he's come back with a flourish on a day when Rotherham hopefully might have turned the corner. Rotherham United 1, Preston North End 0. Do you think this might be a turning point in the season for you, having got the win?
Well, I hope so. I hope it is anyway. Because we haven't had a lot of luck, like. But when you're down there, it seems to kick you in the teeth, doesn't it? But I thought it performed quite well today. And as I say, like, I'm just happy we got the 3 points.
After the break, the season's fastest goal and the best goal we've seen so far. Don't go away. Leeds had Glyn Snowden in for the injured Peter Haddock, and his free kick brought a goal on the quarter hour. Pearson's header, and Chris White lost his marker. His first goal for Leeds United. Two minutes later, another defensive error cost the visitors another goal. Kenny Sampson caught in possession by Gordon Strachan, and when Strachan's cross comes in, it's Sampson who gets the deflection to take the ball into the path of Lee Chapman. He's missed a few from that range this season, but he does get in those scoring positions on the 6-yard line. Chris Fairclough joining the attack for Leeds, setting up Gary McAllister. And when his ball's played in, Chapman again unmarked 6 yards out, and this time a fine save by Jan Stiksau, Rangers' new Czech goalkeeper. Paul Parker on the ball, who was on England duty in midweek against Poland. And Chris White crucially here slips. Bardsley is the first to react, quicker than Snowden, and his cross finds the unmarked Butch Wilkins. Second goal of the season for Wilkins. Now you can sit back and admire Rangers' equaliser from Roy Wegerle and count the number of men he beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the goalkeeper 6. It may be a bit early to talk about goal of the season in October, but that really will take some beating. And now the moment where Leeds should have restored their lead. Danny Maddox here adjudged to have pushed Lee Chapman. Penalty to Leeds. And watch the goalkeeper here as Strachan takes the kick. Clearly moving before the kick was taken, but I'm sure Gordon Strachan will blame himself anyway. The second penalty he's missed for Leeds United. Leeds still driving forward. David Batty playing a good 1-2 with John Pearson. And again, Lee Chapman losing his markers, but not finding the target from the edge of the goal area. And Queen's Park Rangers made him pay for that miss. The ball not properly cleared by Leeds, and Wilkins sets up Roy Wegerle for his 9th goal of the season, the joint top scorer in Division 1. Leeds 2, Queen's Park Rangers 3.
Sheffield United had the day's most thankless task, going to White Hart Lane, but they carried the game to Spurs in the early stages, and from Bryson's cross, Brian Deane unlucky not to claim his 7th goal of the season. And it was 0-0 at half-time, an upset very much on the cards, but then it all turned sour for Bassett's boys. Paul Allen giving warning with a shot that came out off the crossbar. Simon Tracy, recalling goal for the first time since the opening day of the season, was soon backpedalling again, though Paul Walsh could have scored that one with his eyes closed. Tracy disconsolate. Not a lot had been seen of Paul Gascoigne, but he was at the centre of the flashpoint of the game. He tricks and teases. Ian Bryson fouled him, but it's David Barnes who kicks the ball away who suffers most. Barnes had already been booked, and referee Bodnam judged that a second bookable offence. Gazza seemed to see the funny side of it all, with the red card shown to Barnes. Well, no wonder Dave Bassett thinks that Gascoigne gets away with things others wouldn't. The best goal of the match came soon afterwards. The header forward by Mitchell Thomas. Walsh then finds the Spaniard Naeem, and his neat finish produced a few olays from the Spurs fans who knew the 3 points were now firmly in the bag. And Gary Lineker wasn't required to come off the substitutes bench, and it was Paul Walsh who made sure the England striker was forgotten with the next goal. The ball not cleared. Eventually, Walsh making tracks in on goal and clipping it past Tracy. His second, Spurs' third. So a happy day for the former England striker Paul Walsh, and it was to be even happier in the last minute. He rounds off a personally memorable day, and the ball comes back to him inside the penalty area. He finds the space, beats Tracy, and completes United's misery. Spurs 4, Sheffield United 0. The big news was that Liverpool failed to win for the first time this season, held 1-1 at Norwich, and Leeds United slip out of the top half. They've won only 1 of their 5 home games. Sheffield United have been dumped back to the bottom after their defeat, and Derby County's draw is home against Manchester City.
Sheffield Wednesday's wonderful start to the season was recognised yesterday. Ron Atkinson getting the Manager of the Month award. But he'd have been even more pleased with events half an hour after the kick-off. Trevor Francis, who kept his place despite David Hurst's return from injury, involved in the move that led to Paul Williams beating the defenders and putting Wednesday a goal ahead. Nigel Worthington finding the overlapping fullback Phil King. And a fine save by Wood. Worthington again finding space in that penalty area with some regularity, but this time just off the target. Then a Port Vale fullback involved in an important move. Mills finding Porter, who does very well to regain his feet, and finds the unmarked Colin Gibson, doing exactly what he did to Hull recently, stealing in unseen and scoring a vital goal. Wednesday, though, had more of the attacking play, and another fine save here by Wood, whose reactions were excellent on the day, that time foiling Paul Williams from close range. Another attacking fullback move, again it's King involved, a miscue, and Parkin just getting the vital header above Williams to keep the final score at Sheffield Wednesday 1, Port Vale 1.
Hull City and Wolves have seen plenty of one another lately. Steve Bull hadn't scored in any of the previous meetings, but he soon put that right. Buckley's header out. And then Ian Hesford, obviously put off by the England's man presence, virtually handing him a goal after only 7 minutes. Well, it seemed the game was as good as over when Wolves got their second. Gary Bellamy threading the pass through. Robbie Dennison made it 2-0, and Wolves seemed certain to avenge their Rumbelows Cup defeat. And soon it was to be nearly 3-0. Bull sending Tim Steele away down the right. And he rattles the crossbar, the net rippling, but no goal. Well, Hull showed plenty of spirit. Hockaday starting the move. It seemed as though Bamber had been nudged in the penalty area. The referee said play on. Peter Swan did exactly that. And Andy Payton headed Hull back into the game, even if he probably can't remember much about it. Well, Payton certainly knows where the nets are at Boothferry Park. He's got 9 goals already, and he came close to reaching double figures with this effort. It was a good comeback by the Tigers, and this tremendous interception by Malcolm Shotton sends them going forward again. Ian McParland chases and then screws the ball back for Peter Swan to lob it forward, and it's Dave Bamber's hook shot kept out on the line, but by a header and not a handball as some claim. Hull 1, Wolves 2. No winners, but Barnsley well satisfied with a draw at West Brom. They stretched their unbeaten record to 7 games. Sheffield Wednesday's failure to beat Port Vale cost them top spot. Oldham are up there now. Steve Cooper's last-minute goal kept Barnsley in 8th place. That home defeat for Hull dropped them back to the fringe of the relegation places. 2 of the 3 teams beneath them won, only Charlton losing.
Bradford City scored the fastest league goal of the season. Paul Tomlinson got the ball straight from the kickoff, and from his long punt upfield, Greg Abbott set up Paul Jewell's second goal of the season. Confidently taken, 18 seconds gone. The fastest goal ever at Field Mill. Both teams needed the points. Mansfield 6 off the bottom, Bradford 9. And Trevor Christie here is only foiled by some brave goalkeeping from Tomlinson. It wasn't really Christie's afternoon. He was sent off in injury time for arguing once too often with the referee. He played a big part in the match, though, before then. And here he sets up Gary Chapman, playing against his old club. Just a little unlucky. Mansfield 0, Bradford 1. So Bradford and Rotherham collect maximum points. Grimsby soaked up Birmingham's pressure to earn a valuable away point. Huddersfield lost 1-0 at Brentford. Grimsby stayed top because Southend were hammered 4-1 at Wigan, and it's all boiling up nicely for the Mariners' home meeting with third-place Stoke on Saturday. Huddersfield have slipped 3 places. Bradford's position unchanged. Mansfield slip a place and still haven't won at home. Rotherham's win takes them off the bottom, but they have 2 away games in the next 6 days.
Scunthorpe are still trying to make headway after an indifferent start in Division 4, and Mark Lillis back up front showed enterprise to put the first effort just wide of Scarborough's goal. And it was from a similar position the opening goal came on 17 minutes. Tony Dawes doing it all himself. Now for the sort of melee more often associated with schoolboy football. The ball coming back off the bar, Flounder's header kept out and eventually kicked away. Now you need luck to win matches. The long ball here clipped the heel of Kamara, and Dawes there again collecting his second. Scunthorpe put the seal on their success in the second half. It was Kevin Taylor who started it. Now Hicks with the long ball across the face of the goal. Dawes heading back, and look who's got up there. It's Kevin Taylor again. He's gone 50 yards to finish it as well. Scunthorpe United 3, Scarborough 0.
York versus Halifax meant the league's 89th club playing the 92nd. Not much entertainment here? Don't you believe it. 7 minutes gone. Ian Helliwell's 4th goal in 7 games. Halifax, of course, used to be the team who couldn't score, but since this man, Billy Barr, broke the jinx at Carlisle last week, there's no stopping them. Tommy Graham's cross, Steve Norris. Second successive goal since signing from Carlisle. The goal that restored York's lead saw David Brown caught flat-footed by Gary Howlett's first-time lob. But it was 3-1 4 minutes later when Ian Dunn was too quick, not only for Brown, but also, unfortunately, for our cameraman. Now, would Halifax's newfound scoring touch be enough to manage 2 in a quarter of an hour? No problem. First of all, Tommy Graham's shot is deflected in by the unlucky Weatherhead. That with 13 minutes to go, and then with 2 minutes left, Ian Juriev is too quick and too powerful on the ball for Weatherhead. And his shot is saved, but only pushed out as far as Norris. 3 goals in 2 games for him, York 3, Halifax 3.
Doncaster were the other winners. Neil Grayson got the only goal against Lincoln to give Rovers their first win in 6. Chesterfield's miserable form continued at Carlisle, and David Caldwell was sent off. So Doncaster's return to form lifted them up to 5th. Scarborough and Scunthorpe just scrape into the top half of the table, but unfortunately we find most of our teams in the other half. 4 in the bottom 7, in fact. On an optimistic note, York, Lincoln and Halifax all have a game in hand over the others, and there's a full programme of matches on Tuesday night.
And that's it. What do Snowdin, Batty, Pearson, McAllister, Fairclough and Lukic have in common? Roy Wegerle beat them all in 10 seconds. Goodbye.
And Goals on Sunday returns at the same time next week at 12:25.